we're talking about a dude from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, goes to Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and makes it to the very peak of the profession. Terron Armstead joins us here on the Doug Gottlieb Show. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing even better now after that intro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just reading it's like your bio, dude. Like, you earned that. That's not me spicing it up in any way.
I appreciate you.
How challenging was this season?
It was tough. It was frustrating. Losing our quarterback early.
It's crazy because, again, I'm sorry to interrupt. You guys were awesome out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like, awesome.
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. It's challenging. But yeah, we lost our starting quarterback, and it was really hard to recover. It was hard to put up points. The defense was, trying to keep us afloat, but ultimately we weren't able to get it going. And then we get to it back, and we start to get a rhythm, and then we lose them again for a couple more games. And that was like the story of the season. It was up and down. We had a stretch where we fought our way back and got back into the playoff picture, looking good, feeling good, and then down again. So it was tough.
What the Eagles kind of do? The Eagles kind of walked in with some swagger. It felt like that changed your trajectory as well.
No, for sure. That's confidence. That swagger comes from confidence. You don't just walk around feeling like you're the cleanest in the room without you having some confidence. You know what I mean? So they have that. They have a culture. They have an environment over there that they know what they want to be, what they want to look like.
Yeah, but it's interesting. As much as they do have that, they also have this kind of weird sort of dysfunction, like A.J. Brown wanting the ball and Jalen wanting to throw the ball more, and then the coach kind of putting out fires at press conferences. It is kind of a weird vibe on the offensive side.
It is, but all those things are mendable when you're winning.
Yes.
All those things multiply. And
sing that in church, brother.
No, for sure. They do. If they were to lose a couple games around that time with the A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, and all, it would have been destruction. And I think that was more so their path last year, their storyline last year. They started off extremely well, and then they ran into those bumps in the road, compound with losses, and it blew up, and they were first-round exit. This year, with the wins, you can improve, you can fix relationships, you can get happy and healthy while you're winning.
Okay, so how do you fix the Saints?
The Saints, my guys have an uphill battle. You know what I mean? They got to get healthy first. They got to get healthy, and the head coach. Once they figure out that, it comes from the head coach bringing in his identity, sticking to it, bringing in his culture, and then it takes everyone in the building to buy in, which is hard to do. It's only 3 or 4 teams a year that has that total buy-in, and those are the teams that are usually the Final Four.
How do the Chiefs keep doing it? I know we can say culture. I know we can say Pat Mahomes, but look, you know how this deal works is the more you win, the harder it gets. The schedule's harder. The challenge is when you lose pieces as well, right? Yeah. It's like Detroit. You win, everybody wants your coordinators, everybody wants your players.
Yeah.
How have they consistently done this?
That total buy-in, they have a culture, they have an identity, they know exactly who they are and how they want to win games. They are incredible in situational football. Late game situations, they execute at a very, very high level. So that's why they're able to win these close games all the time, these last possession games all the time. And outside of that, the reason I believe they're able to consistently win year after year is they plan for the future. They stay young. They stay as young as possible. They have their core pieces, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Pat Mahomes, but they literally have someone on the roster to replace almost every other position. You know what I mean? So they lose Snead, and they have another guy jump in, and he's looking great. They lose left tackle. They draft one. You know what I mean? So they plan for the future. They really invest in their offensive line as well. Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches ever, probably top 3 in NFL history. Let
me ask you about some of yourself. Terron Armstead joining us here, Doug Gottlieb Show, Fox Sports Radio. I talked in the intro from Pine Bluff all the way to being an All-Pro. But you've been in 2 cities, which to a lot of guys it'd be challenging once you make it. Right? Yeah. You're in Miami. There's lots of distractions. Like people worry about Vegas. Like Miami's had that for 50 years,
That's
right?
Right.
Same thing here.
Yeah.
How have you maintained your level of consistency on and off the field and not gotten the big head? Like, bro, you get to be an All-Pro in 18. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that would change, right? There's a lot of guys that would go Hollywood a little bit. How have you maintained your kind of personal balance?
Staying grounded, man. Really just.
But how? How do you stay grounded when everybody's telling you how great you are?
It's honestly, for me, it's in my makeup, where I come from. Being from East St. Louis, Illinois, I came from a rough area. Going to Arkansas Pine Bluff, dealing with those challenges,
sure.
Lack of resources, So I get here to New Orleans, and I'm blessed with the situation I had in New Orleans. I had some really good OGs in my offensive line room, but I had a Super Bowl winning head coach who was demanding on a daily basis. That from Pine Bluff to the New Orleans Saints, the level of play I had to go up to every day was like a game, and it was hard. It was challenging. So you really didn't have much time allotted to go out or try to venture off and to do other things. Sean Payton was tough. He was borderline military style my first few years, and I feel like it was perfect for me to instill those principles, to really have a process. So for me, I took my same process down to Miami as well. I got the entire offensive line in on every off day. We're working. We're on the field. We're studying. We're improving our technique. And that process is just like, it's ingrained in me. And I never wanted to be comfortable or content. So when I did have my All-Pro year, which I feel like I'm supposed to have a couple more, that I was, finished third in voting, but it's all right. Just never being satisfied, man, because this window will close for every player. You know what I mean? So I wanted to maximize it as much as possible.
You have a group of – you got some skill position dudes, and, obviously everybody knows Tyreek. And does the podcast and some of the things he says, does that change at all the locker room?
No, I think after the last game, he said some things that has to be mended. He has some work to do to really show and prove to the guys and to the organization that he's all in. I know he is. You know what I mean? I know him personally. I was with him right after he said those things. And I'm not excusing him for anything he said.
Sure.
Tyreek Hill is uber competitive, and all he knows is winning, and that's all he desires as well. You know what I mean? So the frustrations that we felt, that the fan base felt of an up and down season, like we starting the season off feeling like we're a Super Bowl contender to not making the playoffs, that's a lot. That's a lot. And so those frustrations for him, he vocalized. But as a leader and the captain of the team, you can't. You cannot be impulsive and just go off the rails.
But I guess my question is, can you fix that in the same locker room?
I believe so. But it's going to come from Tyreek.
I know, but you know what happens though, right, man? Dude walks in the locker room, or you got small meetings, whatever, you guys go out to eat, and he's like, my bad, and he owns it. But there's always going to be guys like, yeah, but that's how he really feels is what he said. Right. Can that actually, in your mind, right?
Yeah.
You've been through it all.
Yeah.
Right? Can that really be mended?
And it has to come from Tyreek. His effort, his willingness, his desire to mend that. You know what I mean? It's really from no other place. It has to come from him. He has to show and prove every day to the guys that he's fully committed, he's fully bought in as a leader, as a player, you know what I mean? And it has to come from him. There's nothing I can do or say. It's nothing that the GM can do or say, hey guys, we're going to forgive Tyreek. No. He has to be the one to put in that effort and show that he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no question. Hey, man, listen, I can only tell you that when we knew we were going to have you, you are, without any question, one of the most respected men in the league.
I appreciate
for how you
that,
carry
Doug.
yourself
Thank
and
you,
how you play. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you.
I appreciate you.